Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about Final Fantasy XIV, the online MMORPG. Without further ado, let's get into it. Before I get into the video, make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe, it really helps me out. So I've been getting back into it recently, back into Final Fantasy XIV, as there's been a surge in popularity due to big streamers such as Asmongold and Rich Campbell streaming it. There's also been a few other ones as well. They're the two big ones that I follow. There's also Annie Fuchsia, I think her name was, but yeah, I don't know if she switched over from WoW or she always streamed Final Fantasy XIV. Can't really tell. I'll be watching them play and seeing how much joy it made them. It just made me want to play it again. So I've been on and off playing it for a few years, and I'm now in Shadowbringers, which is the most recent expansion. There's quite a lot of stuff to get through to get to Shadowbringers, so I'm quite glad that I've managed to make it to the most recent expansion. Now, I want to talk about some awesome things about Final Fantasy XIV, which puts it above the rest of the pack, such as WoW and Guild Wars 2, and that is the ability to change class whenever you like. All you have to do is find a weapon used for a different class, equip it, and you will suddenly be that class with all its abilities and levels. Yes, that means you'll probably be level 1 in that class, but that's all part of the MMO experience. The best thing about this part of the game is that you no longer have to do the same content over and over again. For example, in Guild Wars 2, I must have done this quest called the Battle Claw Island about 10 times. No kidding. Fortunately, it's a pretty fun quest, but damn, I had to do it so many times because of the amount of times I wanted to switch race or class. Of course, in Final Fantasy, you can't change races so easily. But to be honest, it's not that much of a game changer, and you could probably just get used to being a different race if you don't like it that much. Now, another aspect to Final Fantasy, which is different to most MMOs out there, is that there's a huge focus on story. There's a lot of dialogue, written text, and cutscenes to get through, but once you get used to it, it's great. The cutscenes are so good for building tension, getting to know characters. That's the thing. The one main thing which put me off, and a lot of other people off, is that there's so much story to get through before you get to the current content. That's not a bad thing, but for an MMO, it's a bit weird. It feels like a single-player RPG for the most part. Saying that, the main story quest, or the MSQ, is peppered with dungeons, raids, and trials. Trials are basically boss fights where you take down a strong boss with a bunch of other players. I haven't actually done any of the extreme versions of the trials or raids yet, as I haven't had the motivation to do it. I guess you kind of do them for the mounts or the cool looking glamours, because the gear I would get from them would be lower level than the gear I've currently got from the main MSQ in the dungeons. So going back to the story, the character development is great as you come to like some characters and really hate other characters, and you really wish you could kill them. And sometimes you do, which feels awesome. Like killing Joffrey in Game of Thrones, wasn't that just the most awesome catharsis ever? Like most other MMOs, Final Fantasy has the issue that you see other players in the world around you, you think, oh, that was cool, I just saw another player. But you don't really interact with them or do anything with them. The dungeons, raids, and trials are good. Also, the Fate system is cool, but you don't tend to find too many people doing them. Because Fate is basically the same thing, same idea as the Guild Wars 2 open world events, where like you'll be running around in the world, and then an event just pops up, and you complete them either by yourself or with a group of other people. And the good thing about Guild Wars 2 open world events, because there was some events where you do them by yourself or with a couple of people, but other ones were like huge open world like boss events. Like, I can't remember what they were called, but there was like a fire demon thing in the starting zone for the Asura, which was awesome. Like, you got so many people in there, and it had some great loot and stuff like that. But the Fate system is a bit different in Final Fantasy. Not many people do them, and the reward isn't great. I think it's a good thing to do for leveling. So, like, if you're leveling a new class, they do Fates and stuff like that. But I think for the most part, not many people do them. But hey, Final Fantasy does try and get you to play with other players by doing dungeons, trials, and raids. There's probably some other stuff out there which kind of puts you together with other people. Now, a cool feature from Final Fantasy XIV is a thing called Duty Roulettes, which give you daily bonuses for queuing up to do random dungeons, trials, or raids. And this is a great feature because not only does it make doing old content for experienced players worth it, but also the queue times are really short. Really quite short for new players, which is really nice because I've found in Guild Wars 2 and in WoW, like, there's a lot of time where you're just queuing for a dungeon and it takes ages. But the queue times in Final Fantasy are much shorter because of this duty roulette system. Yeah, so that's really awesome. So that's basically all I've got to say about Final Fantasy for the most part. I feel like I kind of rushed it a little bit. I'll make some more videos about Final Fantasy in more detail. But there are also some other games which I'm going to be trying to make videos about, such as Path of Exile, Torchlight 2, Diablo 3, Grim Dawn, and Guild Wars 2. I haven't actually played Guild Wars 2 for a while, and I probably won't make videos about it. Well, you never know. It's the internet. It's YouTube. I can make videos about whatever I want. So Final Fantasy is available on PC and on PS4, which is pretty cool. I don't know if it's on PS5. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's a shame that it's pay to play, so you have to pay monthly to play it. But there is a pretty decent free trial when you first sign up. You can't do the free trial if you like make a new character or something, but you can do it for your first character and for the first time doing it, which is pretty cool. Stay tuned, as I'm going to try to make a video once per week. I used to do them 3 times a week, but I burned out. The quality wasn't amazing, and I also just ran out of ideas for content. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.